BTS News Today, Seoul, South Korea. That night, the sky above Seoul looked calm, but the online world was hit by an unexpected wave of emotion. At around 9 p.m. Korea Standard Time, a small notification on the phones of millions of fans worldwide set off something that couldn't be explained with words alone. Jimin is live. Two simple words that instantly made the Weverse app overflow with millions of viewers from all over the world. Within minutes, thousands of comments flooded the screen, a chorus of voices from ARMY around the globe coming together as one. They knew that every time Jimin appeared, something special always followed. But that night felt different. There was something in his voice, in his eyes, in the silence between his words. Jimin sat in a small, dimly lit room, illuminated only by a warm yellow lamp on the right side of the camera. His hair was slightly messy, and the black hoodie he wore made him look simple and approachable, as if he was speaking not to millions, but to just one person behind the screen. His lips moved slightly as he took a long breath and exhaled slowly. "I just want to talk to you tonight," he said softly in Korean. That simple sentence set off a burst of comments like fireworks. But it wasn't that opening line that made the world cry together. A few minutes later, Jimin began to share his feelings over the past few months. He admitted that he had been spending a lot of time reflecting alone. He'd been thinking about time, the long journey with BTS, the love ARMY had given him, and a future that often felt uncertain. "Sometimes, I don't know how to give back all the love you've given me," he said with a faint smile. But that smile couldn't fully hide the tears slowly gathering in the corners of his eyes. Millions of ARMY watched that moment in silence. There was no background music, no dramatic lighting effects, only the sound of Jimin's steady, honest breathing. "I often feel small in this big world. But every time I think of you, I feel like I have a reason to stay strong," he continued. His voice started to tremble, and the first tear finally fell down his cheek. Comments on the screen exploded with messages like, "We love you, Jimin. You're never alone. And we're always here for you." Then came the one sentence that made Weverse that night feel like a place where millions of hearts beat in the same rhythm. "You are the reason I'm still standing here." The words were simple, but their impact hit deep. ARMY around the world began writing how they cried together, how those words touched something raw and loving inside their hearts. Jimin let out a small, bittersweet laugh through his tears. "I don't want you to worry. I just want to be honest tonight. I want you to know that I'm grateful, so grateful." He lowered his head for a moment, trying to hide his reddened eyes. He wasn't on stage, he wasn't singing with his golden voice, but that night, Jimin was just a human being in front of millions of fans, and that was what made it beautiful. The quiet moments between his words made the live even more touching. There was no script, no complicated setup, only pure honesty flowing freely. From time to time, he read fans' comments and smiled softly. "You always say I'm strong, but actually, I'm strong because of you," he whispered. Once again, his soft voice felt like it went straight into people's hearts. Within minutes, #ThankYouJimin and #WeLoveYouJimin trended at #1 in multiple countries. Fans shared clips of the live on social media with short captions like, "He's so genuine, I cried listening to this," and "One sentence was enough to make me feel loved." Across Korea, Japan, Indonesia, Brazil, the US, and many other countries, people admitted to crying while listening to Jimin's simple but heartfelt words. Jimin continued to speak about how ARMY had always felt like more than just fans to him. "You know," he said with tearful eyes, "sometimes I feel tired, but every time I read your letters or see your faces at concerts, all that tiredness disappears. I remember why I started all this." He stared into the camera for a long time, as if he was really looking into the eyes of every person watching him from different parts of the world. That night, Jimin didn't sing a song, didn't dance, didn't give a grand surprise. But his words became the most touching melody. Many ARMY said the live felt like a warm hug in the quiet of the night. In countless places around the world, people said they cried because of how sincere Jimin's words were. Moments later, his voice grew softer, as if he himself was struggling to hold back his emotions. "I just want you to know thank you. Thank you for loving me, even when I'm not perfect," he said. He then placed his hand on his chest, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. His tears could no longer be held back, But that was exactly the moment that made millions of ARMY feel even closer to him. Comments kept pouring in. "We love you more. You deserve the world. Never doubt yourself," and many more. That live felt like a safe space, a place where Jimin and ARMY could hold each other up. He wasn't just talking, he was listening too. He read their messages with tearful eyes, nodding gently, smiling softly. Not long after, Jimin ended the live in a gentle voice. "Take good care of yourselves, okay? I'll try to be stronger. And I love you." Those final words caused another wave of emotion. Thousands said they would remember that night forever. Not because of a huge concert or a spectacular performance, but because of the simple honesty of a Jimin who spoke straight from his heart. After the live ended, the online world didn't stop buzzing. Fans shared photos of their tears, words of support, and long letters about how Jimin had given them strength during hard times. ARMY called that night one of the most emotional moments in the history of BTS Weverse Live. Korean media soon reported how Jimin's single sentence, "You are the reason I'm still standing here," became a massive talking point. Many cultural psychologists and K-pop analysts said moments like these show the depth of the relationship between idols and their fans. Not a one-way connection, but one born from sincerity. Jimin has always been known as a sensitive and empathetic soul, and that night, everyone felt it in its purest form. He didn't need many words, just a trembling voice, a single honest tear, and that was enough to make the world cry with him.